Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another Market Open stream. Today, of course, let's talk about markets. What is the market going to do, red or green? And let's talk about Bitcoin, because it seems like Bitcoin has reclaimed bullish momentum. And there are many bullish things to talk about today. And let's talk about what happens next. That's right. All right, let's get started. Welcome. Bitcoin is starting out the day pretty good. Just like last night, we're right around 87.7. And you could see we're like straddling that line now. That trend line, we keep pressing against it as a resistance. And now we're like just, straddling it. And we're going to break that and utilize it as a support once again soon. So that's very, very encouraging. And a lot of alts today are coming back up. Look at SUI break up. Now back to 261. That's very encouraging. So yeah, a lot of alts obviously started moving recently. XRP and Sol and ADA. A lot of great news all around. And there's more news to share. Let's see. The U.S. market today. Don't know if it's going to be a red or green day. We had a couple of green days. Today, we're kind of opening up mixed. You have, of course, GameStop. That's up huge. I did cover that last night. That's the biggest thing from yesterday. GameStop, their board voted to add Bitcoin to their treasury, to their balance sheet, and this has their stock soaring today. Look at that. They're plus 13%, and they may keep on going. There could be another extreme short squeeze in the making starting today because of this. This is the effect Bitcoin has. So again, I don't know why more companies do not embrace Bitcoin. Even if you don't believe in it, I mean, just look at the effect that Bitcoin could do for your stock, right? I mean, Meta, it has done wonders for MetaPlanet. It has done wonders, obviously, for MicroStrategy and many others. Now it's doing wonders for GameStop. So let's see where this goes. But obviously, I covered last night, they have 4.6 billion in cash. Are they going to be like Saylor and go all in? And who knows? They may take Saylor's playbook too and start raising debt to buy Bitcoin as well. I always theorize that they could do more. Besides just buying Bitcoin, they could do more with their stores. They have been more innovative over the years. For example, they allow people to grade their Pokemon cards at their stores now. I don't know how many people do it, but that's an example. Why not let people buy Bitcoin or crypto at the stores too? Become an exchange, an in-person exchange. I always thought that was a good idea, right? We have Bitcoin ATMs, but a lot of people are just very fearful. They don't know what they're doing. But imagine being able to go to a counter and getting an explanation and actually buying. I think that could be a real thing. We'll see. But Jim Cramer is taking credit for this. GameStop is finally doing my Bitcoin ploy. And Ryan Cohen, who is the CEO of GameStop, is not liking that. Because Inverse Kramer is never wrong. It is never wrong. If you give it some time, it's never wrong. So, but I know he's just kidding. Hopefully. Because a lot of people have been calling that. I mean, ever since this picture happened, you knew that was in the works, right? So Jim can't be claiming credit for that. Outside of GameStop, what else? I saw this. Treasury Department is set to lay off substantial number of employees. So it's part of the efficiency cuts, I would say, okay, of our government, which I guess is good. But, you know, a lot of people, consumers and businesses, CFOs specifically, are still expecting that there will be a recession in the US. A lot of people think that a recession can't be avoided at this time. And even market surveys, they're all saying recession, 50%, or closing in at 50% chance of a recession. But you know, recession, kind of like a death cross on a chart, sometimes means that things are about to come back up. Because that's when quantitative easing happens. That's when liquidity injection happens. That's when rates start getting cut. You know, a lot of things start happening that, like, basically emergency help happens, right? And BlackRock said this too. And that's why BlackRock thinks that if there's a chance of recession, or we do head into recession, that Bitcoin could actually do very well. I showed an interview of their head of investments guy saying exactly this, saying that Bitcoin could actually do well in a recession because of those very things. Rate cuts happen. You get a lot of rate cuts happening. You get a lot of capital injection happening. You get a lot of liquidity happening. Okay? And these things are great. These things are great for Bitcoin. So that's very encouraging. Now, I don't know whether or not we will truly be in recession. I mean, this recession term is very loose now. Very, very loose. Just a few years ago, we were technically in recession, because if you look at recession, you just look at multiple quarters of GDP slowness is considered recession. That's a technical term. And we had that. But then people changed the definition and said that, no, that's not a real recession anymore. They kind of changed the definition. So I don't know what constitutes as a real recession now. Maybe there's like a hard number, like if you have this many people on unemployment, then that counts as a recession, because the old definition of recession doesn't work anymore, because after COVID, we had this very problem. Everyone was calling that, you know, when Powell would have his FOMC speeches or press conferences, and people would get Powell to say, well, we're in recession, right? And he was like, no, we're not in recession. We're not in recession. But clearly we were, but he just like refused to recognize it. So I don't know what, like the exact conditions that would actually make everyone say, okay, yeah, we're actually in recession. I actually don't know anymore, because they've changed that. They moved the line now. But anyways, it seems like whether or not we're going to be in recession, things are in the works already in terms of cutting the rates and liquidity injection. These things are already happening, and they could happen within the next few months. That's why people are hopeful. So, something to think about. All right, now, more crypto related. This crypto task force, okay? Crypto task force that's within the SEC is hosting 4 roundtables exploring trading, custody, DeFi. Basically, the SEC is very not anti-crypto anymore. And we know that. Yesterday, they just dismissed a case against Immutable X, which is very positive. But what you probably didn't know, what I didn't even know either, is the new chair, Paul Atkins, a very wealthy guy. Seems like Gary Gensler was very wealthy. Like all these SEC chairs are extremely wealthy. This guy has $330 million in assets and up to $6 million in crypto assets. Okay, so bottom line is this guy has a lot of crypto. So is he a good candidate? Well, I think at the very least, he's going to be fair. He's going to be very fair with how the SEC is going to be ruling in the future. So, very positive. And he didn't even start yet. I don't know why it's taking so long. So long. We have acting chair now, but I guess the hearing is scheduled tomorrow. I don't know why he wasn't already made chair already. I don't know. I don't know the process, but it seems like he should have taken over already. But the acting chair right now, I know, has made a lot of moves already. But when Paul Atkins takes over, it'll be even more interesting. I mean, look at all the settlements. The Ripple settlement even came before Paul Atkins took over. That's interesting. They didn't even wait. They just decided to settle beforehand. And all the dismissals happened before he took over. I mean, like literally, they did everything before he even took over. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens when he does. Yeah. All right, ETF. Yesterday we had a small but still net positive. So inflow of 27 million. So that's very good. So how many days is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days of net inflow. So it does show the appetite is definitely coming back. So this definitely shows the bullish momentum building and coming back once again. All the previous sell pressure has dissipated. And now we are building that momentum once again. Right? It seems like all the panicked Wall Street traders, all the panicked hedge funds that were offloading everything they can within the last few months, seems like that volume's dried up. And now you have the smart investors that are loading up because things are still cheap right now. That's what it seems like. Saylor is releasing his new stock today, Strife. So now you have MicroStrategy, you have Strike, and then you have Strife, which promises to give you 10% yield, which is more than an 8% on Strike. But it's a variable yield that could go upwards to 18% depending on if they have the money to pay out. Very interesting. Very interesting. So it'd be 3 stocks to choose from. And all this, of course, is done so that he could buy more Bitcoin. Right? It's just never enough. For people that understand, like Saylor, no amount of Bitcoin. He already controls over 500,000 with his company, and him personally has over 17,000. He alone personally owns over 17,000, and he has already said if he ever passes away, he will just burn the keys, and that will be his gift to the rest of the Bitcoiners. So it's just never enough for this guy, and it's never enough for anyone that truly understands Bitcoin. It's a game of accumulation. Those that accumulate the most will build the most wealth. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's like buying real estate before it gets hot. That's really what it is. And it's only going to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter because Bitcoin is scarce and there is a set supply. And here's something else too. This is showing that the inflow right now in total, not just for Bitcoin, for all of crypto, is at a 2-year low, sitting at 1.8 billion, and there's about 1.8 billion leaving. So we're kind of at a standstill. This is a 2-year low. So this is also showing that we are at kind of like the calm before the storm, and also we are reversing because for many, many months, we have been coming down. Obviously, the net outflow was greater than net inflow, but we are going to turn around. So this is also pretty positive. And like I said, people that understand, people that know about Bitcoin will continue to load up. In fact, there's 48 new wallets that hold over 100 Bitcoins. And this is just recent. And they continue to load up. You got new millionaires, centimillionaires, billionaires that are coming in all the time, loading up. Remember, there's not enough Bitcoin to go around for every millionaire on the planet. That's how scarce Bitcoin is. There's more millionaires on the planet than there are Bitcoin. Take a second to think about that. Not every millionaire on the planet can afford to buy, not afford. Well, yeah, not every millionaire on the planet can afford to buy one, because if they try, the price will go up astronomically. All right. Last few things. Bitcoin obviously has been trending upwards, so it's above the 200 MA again, which is very positive. Whenever you go back above, that's always a good thing. And, you know, that's another bullish indicator. So that's all short term. You guys know I mostly cover and care about long term. Short term, stuff like this happens all the time, right? Short term distractions, they happen all the time. But when in doubt, zoom out and realize that, yeah, we keep trending upwards, right? But we do have these times where it gets scary. We do go down. There are a lot of reasons why. But Bitcoin always figures out a way and keeps on going. That's just the bottom line. All right, what else? The last few things. I saw this. BlackRock Fidelity could file for their Bitcoin, or not, XRP ETF. And now the odds of approval are at 82%. I think odds of approval are like 100% at this point. It's going to happen. It's a matter of when, not if. It's the same thing. Fidelity is looking to launch a Solana ETF. I'm sure BlackRock is going to launch a Solana ETF. I think it's going to be neck and neck. Both Solana and XRP ETFs will both launch probably simultaneously. And it's going to be soon, probably right after Paul Atkins takes over, I would say. And I think these ETFs will do wonders for both. It's going to bring a lot of liquidity into both of these projects. And then Rumble. Rumble is going to launch a new crypto wallet. It's kind of interesting. Not in the wheelhouse. But it makes sense because Tether has invested in them. I'm sure they're building in crypto features into their platform. So their creators probably needs a wallet for tips or donations or whatever that they're building on. It makes a lot of sense. Good for them. Good for them. All right. That's about it. Today is Still kind of red for NASDAQ, green for Dow. Let's see. Robinhood is still skyrocketing today. Bitcoin still holding. Not going up, not going down, still holding. So, pretty good overall. All right. Let's do some Q&A. I wonder what kind of effect we will get when all the Wall Street bets, degens, come into Bitcoin. TC, that's what I've been saying. Besant. I don't say Bennett or Benson. Besant. I've just been reading through the comments. People don't think I read through the comments. I do. And then I ban all the trolls or people that piss me off. And then I get caught up. Chris asked me, are you more bullish on XRP these days given the Trump-Garlinghouse relationship? That's definitely a big part of it. Being close to the administration these days is a big thing. But obviously there's more than that. They go get their ETF. That's a big thing. Now they don't have the SEC to worry about. That's a big thing. So, you know, I haven't always been the biggest XRP, fan. Never been the XRP army, but times change. So things are looking much better for XRP. Bronny's starting to play well. That's a surprise. Honestly, anyone that makes it to the NBA could play well. It's all about confidence. It's really, that's what it comes down to. All the stars in the NBA Um, basically comes down to they got an opportunity, they built up that confidence, and then they became stars. The rest, they just never got an opportunity and never built that up. Bronny's been so scrutinized, he never had a chance. But that one game where everyone on the roster was out and he had a chance to prove himself, he had that good 18-point game, that built up a lot of confidence for him. And then he played in the G League and got 39 points. If he builds off of that and he continues on and he starts dominating the G League and he comes back and, could get a good 10 to, 14 points a game every time he plays for the Lakers, I mean, that's unreasonable. Coming off the bench, I don't think he would average that. But if he could get a solid 10 points coming off the bench for the Lakers, that would be the best case scenario for him and building off of that. Do you think Robinhood's moving into sports betting and college basketball? Good move. Any company moving into betting, sports betting, any kind of betting is a good move. There's so much money there. So much money there. So I didn't even know about that. But if they are, that's a really good move for them. What's going to happen on April 2nd? Well, that's what everyone wants to know. How bad will the tariffs be? According to this article, it'll be more lenient than reciprocal. So that's the reason why markets turn around recently, because there was a hint that the tariffs are not going to be all that bad. So, I don't know. But I think this is ruining the master plan here. I think the master plan was to crash markets and to bring rates down. And now that the markets have recovered somewhat, I don't know, maybe Trump's card is to, again, make the tariffs really bad to bring down the markets. I'm hoping he doesn't do that. I'm thinking that he kind of gave some hope because markets went down too badly and a lot of people were very fearful, and maybe that's why he had to do what he did. But overall, this whole thing was to bring down rates, bring down the 10-year yield. Besant even said that himself. Everything was done to basically bring down a 10-year yield and to bring the dollar strength down. T-Rev, when do you think gaming tokens will pump? Probably the tail end of the bull run. Not anytime soon, but the tail end. Summit, do I really like the Cybertruck? Yes. I really, really like it. Go drive one. First of all, you got to wrap it. If you look at a stainless steel, it does look ugly. You wrap it, and then it looks much better. And then second of all, go drive one. It drives really nice. Ryan says, please talk about ETH even though you don't like it. Why? There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing going on in ETH. What would you like to talk about with ETH? Bobby says, I'm still trying to understand what American products we need. You guys don't have anything. Uh, how about GPUs? How about NVIDIA GPUs? How about AMD Ryzen chips? You don't think about it, but your computers use American-based chips. Even though they're produced in TSMC, they're American products. If you don't have AMD chips or Intel chips or NVIDIA chips, your computers, your laptops, how about your Apple products? You'll be using electronics from the Stone Age. Have you thought about that? Bobby, just because they're produced in China doesn't mean they're Chinese-based products. They're produced in China for American companies. The fact that you don't understand that concept shows how ignorant your original comment is. All right. Greenland is saying yes to their own independence. They don't want the US or Denmark to rule over them. Uh, they have to vote. I heard Denmark has a rule where if Greenland votes and they vote they want their independence, Denmark will let them have their independence. So it just comes down to if they have a vote. What do you think about based AI? I have zero opinions about based AI. Bobby, there's so much other stuff. It's not just computer chips. Half of Canada has iPhones. Half of Canada uses iPads and iWatches. So be prepared for everyone to switch to Samsung products. How about that? Are you talking about just like a complete ban on all US stuff? What about all the foods? What about McDonald's and all the fast food and all the supermarket grocery stuff that comes from America? I don't think you have thought it through how much is actually produced by American companies. If you're talking about complete ban of American goods, yeah, you would be missing a lot from your life. What about even movies? Does Canada produce any movies or TV shows? I mean, almost every movie and TV is from Hollywood or some kind of American company. I mean, unless you're looking at Bollywood stuff or Asian produced stuff, but almost every show is from America too. Yeah, and there's a ton of American cars in Canada. I mean, Trailer Park Boys is, is the only show from Canada. Well, I never watched it. I don't even know about that show. Um, Anyways, off topic. That would never happen. Canada would never outright just ban all US based products. Uh, that would be silly for Canada. Um, yeah. Anyways, today, you know what? Today's kind of a even day. Little red for markets, but Bitcoin is still holding strong. It's still up versus yesterday. It's still plus $262 versus yesterday. Today I see Sui's making a big move, so that's good. Doge is up. I don't know why Doge is up. Doge Foundation just came out of the Doge Reserve. Do you see quantum computing as a threat to crypto? Not for a long, long, long time. Quantum computing as right now is not a threat. Quantum computing has to evolve to a lot more advanced state before it can crack SHA-256 encryption. And by then we can have, on the other side, you can have quantum resistant security too. That are trying to stop it. And honestly, if we ever get to that point, there's bigger concerns because quantum computers can be used to hack pretty much anything. Hack bank accounts, hack the Treasury Department, hack stock markets, hack nuclear codes, right? So if it ever advances to that point, people will create deterrence. They'll use quantum computers to create deterrence and security protocols to stop them from hacking too. Otherwise, it's the end of the world. So we're not quite there yet. Clean says quantum computer question comes up at least once a month because I feel like that's like the last FUD against Bitcoin. Because there's no other FUD you can say or cause for Bitcoin. This whole thing about, well, government shut it down. Well, that has gone away. Is it a Ponzi scheme? Well, that narrative has gone away. So though I feel like the only thing people can come up with to try to scare the masses into not buying Bitcoin is, well, one day quantum computers can just crack people's keys and steal your Bitcoin. I feel like that's like the last thing that people could come up with because every other FUD scenario for Bitcoin has been removed. Like every single one. Can Bitcoin survive a recession? Bitcoin will die in a recession. That has been resolved too. Bitcoin has gone down, but it didn't go to zero. It didn't die. So like every single scenario, every single FUD scenario has been disproven or removed. So that's like the last thing. Like, can Bitcoin survive quantum computers? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Did you hear about Buildo adding Polygon to the list? I decided to scoop some at 21 cents. I don't know if that project is the one that I'm thinking of, because I invested in one and that completely bombed to like 0. So Iggy, and by people in quotes you mean boomers. Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, it really. All right, guys. So stay strong, my friends. We got a lot of great things happening. We always do in crypto, especially for Bitcoin. Do not give up hope. Stay strong. Yeah, I think I'll stream tonight too, because it's DCA night. So I'll stream tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know. These days, there's not a whole lot of new stuff to cover in the afternoon, so I may make it a short stream, but I'll see you guys tonight. All right? Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.